Good evening, this is Group Appa, and this is our first product demo. And I'll be starting off. So in this sprint, we have actually taken up the executive summary first. So in the executive summary, we're going to talk about the overview, the problems, and the solution that's going to be proposed. So in the overview, we're going to talk about City Dome and the convention center and the process of how a room is reserved, how a customer places a reservation for a specific room. In the problems, we're going to be talking about how the data is currently being handled, and in solution we're going to talk about the solution that we are going to propose, which is going to be a database solution coupled with a web application so that the data entry is smooth.
On a data flow diagram, and basically it covers the processes of the entire system, and the main processes it has is making a reservation in a room in the conference center, which just generally takes information from the customers and looks in the database for the rooms and reservations for availability, and it also involves employee approval, and it also has general things like canceling reservations, editing reservations, which also takes information from the customers, and it also allows for the capability of adding new rooms as the convention center expands. And then there's also several generating reports processes which take information from the data stores for customer information, reservation information, and then it sends it to the appropriate external entity that requested the report.
Okay, and then for our ERD, we found the key pieces of information. So we have the customer, the reservation, the rooms, and the caterer in the convention center. So this ERD basically just matches the functionality of our DFD and allows those processes to happen along with what the case requires.
Hey, I'll be talking about the user stories for the case we have at hand. So the first user story being, as a developer, I want to create an exhaustive list of entities of the convention center database so that I can design an efficient database. The second one being, as a developer, I want to create an exhaustive list of attributes for each of the entities of the database so that I can store the necessary information of customers, booking, and available rooms. The third user story we have is, as a developer, I want to identify all the key relations that could possibly exist between the database entities so that it can get effectively queried by the staff. The fourth one we have is, as a developer, I want to normalize the database to third normal form because I want to save space and have the most efficient design that's possible. The fifth one, I'm jumping to the staff member's perspective. So as a staff member, I want to be able to transfer all the existing offline data to the newly created database so that I do not lose out on the currently available information and should ensure smooth transition to the new system.
Okay, so I'm going to be talking about the rest of the user stories from the staff member's perspective, which basically talk about the booking and the venue information and the caterer information. So the first user story is that as a staff member, I want to store user information, including username, physical address, contact number, organization name, and email address so that booking process can be more efficient. The next one says that as a staff member, I want to store venue information, including room name, rental fee, room size, capacity, and other facility specifications so that booking process can be more efficient. Moving forward, there is another user story which says that as a staff member, I want to store the caterer information along with the user and organization information so that booking process can be more efficient. Then we have another user story. As a staff member, I want to be able to look up the room and venue information so that I can help customers with room suggestions during booking process. And lastly, as a staff member, I want to be able to look up the size of the venue so that I can help customers with the number of people a venue can accommodate during booking process.
So I'll be continuing with the user story number 11. As a staff member, I want to be able to look up the room reservation schedule, date, and time information so that I can make sure that the same venue is not booked by multiple customers for the same time. The 12th user story is, as a staff member, I want to be able to look up the venue availability information so that I can help the customers with room availability on a specific date during booking process. Moving forward, as a staff member, I want to be able to access the booking information so that I can help customers with changes in the reservation. The next one is, as a staff member, I want to be able to access the booking information so that I can help customers with cancellation of reservations. And the 15th user story from the staff member's perspective is, I want to be able to keep a record of the reservation that were cancelled so that I can follow up with these customers at some point later in the future.
So the user stories that that they all spoke about till now forms a part of the MVP that we are developing as a part of the other features that is expected. We have 3 stories as of now. As a marketing officer, I want the system to provide me reports periodically so that I can make decisions regarding campaigns and target markets, etc. So this is the story that is talking about quarterly reports that have to be generated, which is not really a part of the MVP right now. The next story talks about having some space in the database reserved for signed agreements to be attached. Right now, it is just available as data in the database. So in future, we'll have an enhancement wherein we're storing all that information physically in the database. And the third story we have as a part of an additional add-on is for the entire system or the web portal to be user-friendly and simple. We are also ensuring that the response time is as least as it could be as a part of the story. Out of all the stories mentioned, out of all the stories that we've already come up with, only 15 of them are a part of the minimum viable product. As a part of this sprint, we're not considering this story, which is creation of user stories for the case, to be done because we still have a lot of stories that we have to work on. We realized during the testing phase of the sprint that there are additional requirements for which user stories have not yet been created. So we're gonna continue this story in the next sprint and continue working on it. Just to have a look at where our Scrum board stands.
Okay.
So at the end of sprint 1, just before the demo, this is the status of our Scrum board. We have the story in testing and we're going to move it back to in development and continue working with it in the next sprint. We have 4 stories which have been reviewed and tested and are ready to be demoed, which we just did. So this will probably move to done at the end of the sprint. And yeah, that's about it.
So given the context of the sprint, we finished the DFT, the entity relationship diagram, and the executive summary. All of them are done. So the one other thing that we have also completed in this sprint is the YouTube channel creation. We've created the YouTube channel and we have shared it with Dr. Gumilian. Thank you.